While everyone's eyes are on OpenAI's plans to become the next WeChat, Anthropic just published something far more interesting. They revealed exactly how Claude thinks. This isn't a new feature or a bigger model. It's something rarer in AI, transparency. The news broke this week in MIT Technology Review. Anthropic's researchers documented Claude's internal architecture in detail, the hidden layers, the reasoning pathways, the mechanisms that let it process information the way it does. Meanwhile, OpenAI's been quietly building something else, a super app strategy. Think of WeChat or Alipay, one platform that handles your messaging, your payments, your work, your shopping, all woven together seamlessly. Two completely different bets on what AI's future looks like. One company is betting on, let people understand how it works. The other's betting on, make it so essential that switching becomes impossible. Both are playing for dominance, but they are playing entirely different games. This distinction matters because it's going to shape what kind of AI we all use for the next decade. Is it transparent? Is it a monopoly? Is it trustworthy? This is where those two very different philosophies collide. To understand why this matters, you need to know where Anthropic and OpenAI are positioned. They're the two companies fighting for control of the most powerful AI on Earth. OpenAI released ChatGPT 3 years ago, which shocked everyone. It was the fastest application ever to reach 100 million users. They've followed that with GPT-4, then 4 Turbo. And they're now positioning themselves as a full-stack AI company that wants to own your entire digital life. Anthropic came later. They were founded by former OpenAI employees who believed the company was moving too fast, not thinking hard enough about safety. Anthropic built Claude as a counter-argument, an AI that's powerful but built with constitutional AI training designed to make the model more honest and less likely to cause harm. For years, the fight was about capability. Who has the smartest model? Who can do the most? Then something shifted. It became about control. OpenAI started talking about integrating AI everywhere: your phone, your computer, your office, your search, your creative tools. A super app that makes competitors irrelevant because you never have to leave it. Anthropic's response wasn't to match that move. Instead, they showed their work. They're betting that transparency wins, that understanding beats monopoly power. Two philosophies colliding at full speed. So what exactly did Anthropic reveal about Claude? The research paper breaks down the residual stream. Imagine your brain processing a thought. Signals flow through neurons, information gets transformed at each layer, and the pattern that emerges is understanding. Claude works similarly. As text flows through the model, each layer adds interpretation. The residual stream is the information highway running through the network. Previous research suggested it was messy and unpredictable. Anthropic's team proved otherwise. They discovered the residual stream is actually organized. Different concepts get represented in predictable locations. Word meanings cluster together. Reasoning patterns group in similar regions. This is massive. Claude isn't a complete black box. Its thinking follows patterns. You can predict and understand what it does based on what flows through these layers. It's like discovering a magician's trick isn't random. It follows a precise sequence you can learn. The research tested this by manipulating internal representations. They changed how a concept was encoded mid-thought, and Claude's output changed accordingly. They could literally steer the AI's reasoning by tweaking the internal signals. This is revolutionary. It means we might actually build AI we can understand and control, not just systems we hope work. That changes everything about how we approach AI safety and development. Here's what this practical research actually means. How does this knowledge actually get used? Imagine you're building a safety system for an AI. Previously, you'd feed it examples of bad outputs and say, don't do that. You'd hope it learns. With Anthropic's discoveries, you can actually see what's happening inside. You can identify which concepts trigger harmful reasoning and suppress them directly. One practical example, Claude sometimes generates violent text when it shouldn't. By mapping the internal representations, researchers find where violent concepts activate in the network and suppress those signals surgically. It's not fuzzy training, it's precision work. Another example, bias. All language models pick up societal biases from training data. Previous techniques tried fixing this with more training data and tweaking external parameters. Now, Anthropic can map where gender bias lives in the residual stream and directly edit it. They reduced gender bias in Claude's outputs by 85% by targeting the right internal mechanism. This same technique applies to reasoning accuracy. If Claude makes logical errors on certain types of problems, researchers can trace where in the network the error occurs and fix it at the source rather than patching symptoms. It's moving from "please work better" to "here's exactly why you're wrong and how to fix it." That's a fundamental change. Every major AI lab is now racing to understand their own models this way. And here's what that really means for the future. While Anthropic's publishing research and opening Claude's internals, OpenAI's taking a different approach. They're building a super app. The strategy is simple. Make AI so integrated into everything, your phone, your email, your calendar, your documents, that leaving becomes impossible. It's the WeChat model. WeChat started as a messaging app. Then it added payments, news, mini-apps. Now it's so embedded in daily life that most people couldn't function without it. That's OpenAI's vision. ChatGPT becomes the AI overlay on top of your entire digital life. The business logic is attractive. If Claude is powerful but standalone, you have options. Use Claude or GPT or Gemini. But if OpenAI controls your phone's assistant, your email, your documents, your search, your image generation, switching costs become impossible. You'd have to rebuild your entire digital infrastructure. Anthropic's betting on transparency. OpenAI's betting on indispensability. Anthropic publishes deep research on how Claude works. OpenAI releases capabilities and benchmark results, but how GPT thinks, that's proprietary, closed, hidden. Two completely opposite bets on the future of AI. One says, people understand what they use. The other says, make it so essential they can't leave. Both companies are now racing to see which model wins. The transparent, understandable AI that users trust, or the integrated super app that users can't escape. And whichever strategy wins is going to shape the next decade of AI. So what does this mean? Anthropic's research suggests a future where AI is knowable, interpretable, auditable. If they are right, AI safety becomes an engineering problem we can solve. No more black boxes. We can literally map behavior we want and suppress behavior we don't. That's powerful for users. Companies could prove their AI doesn't have hidden biases. Regulators could audit AI systems like they audit financial systems. Governments could demand transparency. AI becomes accountable instead of mysterious. But OpenAI's super app strategy points elsewhere. A future where you don't need to understand how your AI works, you just need it to work. You use ChatGPT for everything because it's everywhere and convenient. Understanding becomes less important than availability. The tension is real. Transparent, auditable AI is great, but slower. Interpretability research is hard. Building super-integrated platforms is faster. Users want convenience. Regulators want accountability. Companies want profit. This is the fork in the road for AI. Down one path, trustworthy, explainable AI that society can govern. Down the other, powerful, convenient AI that's increasingly closed and centralized. The outcome doesn't just affect Anthropic and OpenAI. It affects how billions of people interact with AI for decades. It shapes whether we get an AI future that's open or closed, trustworthy or convenient, understood or mysterious. And honestly, we are probably going to end up needing both. If you're a developer, Anthropic's work on interpretability is published and available. You can start reading about exploring your own model's internals. If you're training AI systems, this gives you concrete techniques to understand what's happening inside. For business leaders, the tension between transparency and integration is your strategic choice. Are you building something users understand and trust, or something they can't leave? Both work, but lead to different products and consequences. For people using AI right now, think about lock-in. When you start using ChatGPT for research, writing, creative work, you're making a decision about your digital future. The more you integrate it, the harder switching becomes. That's not necessarily bad. Integration can be genuinely useful, but it's a decision with consequences. If you care about how AI works, if you want trustworthy systems, Anthropic's transparency push matters. Following interpretability research, paying attention to how these systems are built, that's how you help push AI toward accountability instead of mystery. Both Anthropic and OpenAI are going to keep building. Both approaches have merit. Anthropic's transparency helps us understand and govern AI better. OpenAI's integration makes AI more accessible and useful. The real question is which one shapes the default future. And that depends partly on which strategy wins in the market and partly on what we collectively choose to support. The battle's happening right now. Here's what's really happening. We're watching two visions of AI's future crystallize. One says understand how it works and build trustworthy systems. The other says build something so integrated that convenience matters more than understanding. Both are serious bets. Both could win. The world will probably end up with elements of both. There's room for transparent, auditable AI. There's also room for integrated AI woven into your daily life. But the balance matters enormously. An AI future that's all integration and zero transparency becomes dystopian. A future with perfect transparency but no practical tools doesn't help anyone. What Anthropic's research actually reveals, truly reveals, not marketing hype, is that understanding AI is possible. We can build interpretable systems. We can audit them. We can see what's happening inside. That changes everything about how we regulate and develop AI. So watch both companies closely. Follow the interpretability research. Pay attention to which companies build transparency into their AI and which ones hide the internals. Because your choice about which systems you trust, that's going to shape which vision wins. The next 5 years of AI development will be determined partly by what these two companies build and partly by what the rest of us choose to support. Follow for daily AI news to keep up with the battles that will actually shape your future.